welcome back to my channel, Histoire, Books and Camilla, and today I'm wrapping up my month of July. July was a really good month. As you may know, I've been home in Canada, in Montreal, for the whole month. It's been really nice to resource myself, you know, to see friends and family and just be back in this place after 3 years. It's been really nice. And also, you know, we call it COVID, but we're getting better. And I still have a week in Montreal, so I'm trying to make the most of it and seeing a few more people. So generally been really good. I went on a bit of shopping spree, so you may have seen my Montreal book haul. So I went to a couple bookshops and bought loads of books. I focused on reading these books in July, so obviously I brought some books with me, and I'm supposed to be doing a read along of the Count Monte Cristo. I've only just started it and been focusing on reading a lot of the French books that I bought to leave them here. You know, I'm trying not to return home with too many books. We'll see if I succeed. I also wanted to showcase the shirt that I'm wearing. I know it just says I'm okay, but it's because it's someone under a pile of books. I really like it. My parents got it for me for my birthday. I really like it. There's 2 more as well that I'll be wearing in other videos in the future, so I really like it. In total, I read 16 books in July, so that's really good, you know, for a summer month, you know, where I've been partially on holiday, obviously partially sick, so I didn't really read while I was sick with COVID. So generally really good. Lots of really small books, lots of poetry books, you know, books that are less than 100 pages, books that I could just sit down and read in an hour or 2. So, you know, a lot of small steps, small books, but I've been really enjoying my month of rediscovering Quebec authors and new to me authors, so that's been really good. So the split, so I read 16 books. Of the 16, I think there was only 2 that were non-fiction. I'm trying to read a couple each month. I'm trying to get back into that because I think I've been a bit behind in terms of, you know, having a bit of a healthier split of non-fiction and fiction. And I read 8 books in French, so out of the 16 there were 8, which is really good because I was really behind on my yearly goal of reading 1 book a month in French, so 12 books. I only had 2 down by the end of June, so I read 8 in July, so I'm back on track. I'm actually a bit early now, so it's really good. And I think the split was 14 women authors and 2 male authors. So generally very good. We'll head straight into some reviews. I'm going to try to be concise, especially with the French ones, which let's start with those. So I read 4 poetry books earlier in July. The first one was Nous, le lac by Emmanuelle Tremblay. Then there was Pendant que Perceval tombait by Tania, Langlais. Karianne Trudeau Beaunoyer's Je suis l'ennemi, I am the enemy. And finally, Enfants du lichen, or Children from the Lichen by Cousineau, Mollen. And of the 4, my favorite was definitely Enfants du lichen. It was a really, I think, powerful poetry collection. It was really short but really poignant, really powerful. It said something. It was really cool, by like a First Nation author. Next, I really enjoyed this one, Je suis l'ennemi, which was, I thought, really, really interesting. Like, it was experimental more than other books, but understandable. Because the last 2, which I'm not sure how much I enjoyed them, I'm glad I read them, but I don't think that I understood what they were talking about or what they were trying to say, or just generally sentences. Like, this one had no punctuation. It would literally just be words and words and words, and I'm not entirely sure what was happening. Same with this one. Yeah, so those were the 4 French books. I also read it's a short novel, Menthol by Jennifer Belanger. This was intense. So it starts with a woman who has chronic pain. I thought that was really, like, really intense, and it really showed something real. But then it goes away from that. It's not really about that. It's about a lot about her childhood and her mother being sick and not taking care of her very much. And it's a lot of trauma, and it just doesn't stop after that. So it's really heavy. I'm not entirely sure what it was saying at times. Glad I read it. but yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I thought about it. I also read Inconnu à cette adresse, Address Unknown by, I think, what's her first name? Kathrine Kressmann Taylor. This is, so I read it in French, but it was originally written in English. I didn't realize. This is from 1938. It is based in 1933 and 34, I believe. It is about a Jewish man living in America who's corresponding with a friend of his who is German, living in Germany at the rise of Hitler and the fascist movement. And basically them going separate ways, because obviously the German person starts being very pro of all of the propaganda that Hitler is, you know, talking about. And I thought it was really interesting that this obviously came out before the Second World War even started, obviously because the rise of Nazism started well before that. But I thought it was really good. Like this is one that I 100% recommend that everyone reads. It's a really quick read as well. And a really, really strong message and really interesting twist. So yeah, very good. Then I read Luis Sepulveda novella. This is the, well, I'm going to translate it, the story of the seagull and the cat that taught it to fly. This is really interesting. So it is in the, mostly in the perspective of a cat who's living in, I believe it's Hamburg in Germany, and a seagull who's been caught in like an oil slick dies in his backyard, and then makes him promise to take care of its baby and teach it to fly. And it was a really charming read, a really beautiful read, full of love and understanding and compassion and just acceptance of diversity and, you know, learning to live together when we're different. So I really, really recommend it. It must have been translated in English and in French, and it's originally in Spanish. Finally, the last book in French that I read was Yawendara and the Forest of Severed Heads by Louis-Karl Picard-Sioui. This was a very good, actually it was very kind of childish, obviously. It's for 10 plus, kind of middle grade-ish. And it's based on a lot of myths and tales from the First Nations. And it was really beautiful, very kind of young. But by the end, like the end, it was so touching, so beautiful, and so full of beautiful lessons. And I thought it was really, really nice. So this was a beautiful one. And I kind of wanted to read more in the same world, so I'll be looking at this author definitely. I also read 3 arcs that I got on NetGalley. The first one was A Woman Eating by Claire Coda. This is a sort of modern take on vampire and a woman who's growing up. She must be 18, 20, and she's kind of out there on her own living as a vampire and trying to live in our modern society, and she's so hungry. And it was really interesting. I feel like it was less funny and also less insightful than I thought it was going to be when I picked it up. But, you know, an interesting read, an interesting take on vampire, on being hungry, on being a woman. So good enough read, like an okay read. I also listened to the audiobook of Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola. This is a love story, a little bit like enemies to lovers, fake dating, you know, romance, based in the university in London, I believe. And I thought it was really good. I feel like there was nothing I didn't like about this book. Like, it was just, everything about it was good. The backstories of the characters, their chemistry, like, it was just really good and really beautiful. My only thing was I thought they were quite young, and so some of the stuff I was like a little less believable to me. But generally I thought it was really nice, and if you like romance, you're gonna definitely like this one. It's a big recommend for me. And the last one was a nonfiction. It was A Female Fear Factory by Pumla Dineo. This is a nonfiction text. It's very academic. I believe that the author is academic, and you could tell in the way that it was written. So I don't think it was very accessible. It was a lot of jargon, a lot of citations, self-citations as well from previous books and articles that she'd published. I liked that her scope was large. She is a South African writer, but she was talking about the fact that this patriarchal kind of machine of violence and rape is all over the world, and, you know, we can't look down on some countries because we think that women have less right there, when it's actually permeating our entire society. So I like that she brought examples from all over the world, so that was really good. I also like that she brought in a lot of like popular culture as well, but I feel like I have quite an academic mind, like I can get into that and I read lots of articles, but if you don't, I don't think this is an accessible nonfiction, like feminist nonfiction to read, so I don't know that I would recommend it to like the general public, but I think it was trying to get to that, so yes. The other nonfiction that I read was No Man's Land, Living Between Two Cultures by Anne East. This is one of the small books that was published through the 404 Inc. publisher in Edinburgh. They did these inklings, so they're tiny books. They're little nonfiction, very relevant topics, and this is extremely relevant in the face of the discrimination of Asian people during COVID, but also with Brexit, and just general kind of atmosphere in Britain. And it was focusing a lot on Asian people, but obviously discussing the fact that Asian people is extremely vague term. It encompasses so many different cultures and people, but also of, you know, Annie's saying that she is British first and foremost, so it's like living between the culture that you're from and that you associate with, but also with a culture that you do not associate with, but that people associate you with. So that was really interesting. I didn't think that this is where this was going when I bought this. I pitched something similar as well, obviously being half Canadian, half South American, but for me it's more that I associate with both, but I'm sort of neither completely, and so it's a slightly different, but also that's the thing with identity and culture, is that there's so many ways to look at it, even for yourself. So a very interesting perspective, and I really enjoyed them. Finally, I listened to 4 audiobooks that I thought were all quite good. The first one was The Pearl Thief by Elizabeth Wayne. That one was my least favorite, and I'm not entirely sure if I really appreciated it that much. I reread it, like re-listened to it 3 times because I kept losing track. I kept losing track of what was going on. I feel like the concept was interesting, but the delivery maybe not as much. I also had a bit of an issue with the narrator, like the main character. She's the daughter of an earl or a laird, you know, some posh person anyway, but she was complaining a lot, so it was really difficult to relate to her problems. What I did like is actually the inclusion of traveler characters. I feel like I haven't really seen that before, so that was really cool, and I think that they really did it justice, so that was really nice. If you like a younger character, so the character has 15 to 16 years old, maybe you'll enjoy this. You know, it's based in Scotland, it's a cozy mystery, but for me it kind of hit the mark a little bit. But anyway, the second book that I listened to was I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey Mcquiston. That was really fun, actually. I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was really funny, really self-aware. It really reminded me at the beginning of that book by John Green. I didn't read the book, but I saw the movie with that woman who she's a model, believes that she's an actress, Cara something. And it was really funny because in the book they actually mentioned John Green. I was like, oh my god, that is very self-aware, and I really enjoyed, like, appreciated that about it. So it was really fun. I liked the queer aspect. I liked that it was very specific to this location and its context, basically, because it was extremely, like, religious community. It reminded me a little bit of Footloose in that way. And also a little bit of You Should See Me in the Crown, that I read last year. So all reminded me a little bit of it. It was just a fun book, a really fun audiobook as well, I think. Next, I listened to The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. So I had seen the movie a couple months ago, and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. So I thought that I would give the audiobook a chance when I found it, and I really enjoyed the audiobook. Did I prefer the movie? Yes, I really did prefer the movie. I feel like the movie took away some of the stuff that was really annoying, like the jealousy and the creepy behavior of the male character. I think that was taken away, so that was really good. That said, I did prefer the ending in the book. And the movie is really bizarrely, I don't know why they kept, like, going. Well, they should have just ended it when they admit to each other what's going on. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. You know, just a little bit of light romance. And finally, I listened to a really short collection of short stories by Lydia Westing. It's called Leather and Lace, and it's actually following the characters of like a group, so each story is you know, a separate person, and I thought that was really cool because you get like an ensemble view, but it's short stories, so it kind of gets to the point really fast. So it was really fun, and it was surrounding I guess team members of a roller derby team. So yeah, it was really good actually. I really enjoyed it. I found it on Scribd and I just listened to it in one day. It was really nice. And that was it. Those were the 16 books that I read or listened to in July. That was a really good reading month. Let me know if you've read any of them. I know loads of them were in French, so I probably won't find as many people who read, you know, similar books. But, you know, have you seen The Hating Game? Have you read Casey Mcquiston? Have you read Address Unknown by Kressmann Taylor? I would love to know all of that. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and hey, see you back.